We're
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. You are tuning into another episode of Casual Convo Friday. My name is Tisha, and with me, I have my co-host Nate out of Georgia and Dana Hagstrom. She is a profit strategy coach with DND Marketing Solutions, and she's joining us from the mountains in Mexico. So how about that for that laptop lifestyle? All right, well, Dana, today we're talking about understanding the process before it's too late. This is going to be a great conversation. So if you are tuning in live to this, either through YouTube, LinkedIn, or on Facebook, make sure to drop us a comment, say where you're from, tell us who you are, and ask us any questions. This is going to be a really great conversation to learn from Dana. She has some great gifts and tidbits at the end that we'll share as well. So welcome, everybody. Nate, good to have you back, sir. I missed you last week. I had to hold down the fort, but I think Mary and I managed.
You always manage without me,
I managed.
I'm just added eye candy at this point.
Added eye candy. So funny. Hey, Jordan Jerome Harrison. He is joining us out of San Diego. Jordan I met a long time ago too. Great guy. But let's take this away. Dana, are you ready?
I am ready. Let's go.
All right, Nate.
All right.
Are you ready?
No, not at all. But yeah, I'm good. All right. So, Dana, you kind of had a odd career path, I guess you would say, a little bit different from some people. Talk to us about how you went from a paralegal to a marketing coach. Let's start there because I think that'll lend to the other questions I'm going to ask you. All right.
All right. Well, it took a leap of faith, I should say. My husband was a pastor back in the United States, and he came to me one night, and I was a paralegal, busy doing all the pastor's wife things and, crazy. Loved my job, loved it. But he came to me one night and said, honey, we have to work another 6 or 8 years, or we can retire next year and move to Mexico. All right. Well, picture this. We're living in small town Iowa. We were serving a church who was, kind of struggling to, even pay their pastor. And I couldn't imagine another 6 or 8 years of putting our church through that kind of, dilemma. So I, without even thinking, said, let's do it. And then the reality hit, like, what did I just say? But a year later, we were in Mexico. God opened all the doors for us. And then we woke up and thought, okay, now what? I've left my paralegal career behind and we're in a foreign country. Now what? Well, we'd been, dabbling in home business for years, doing a little bit of, network marketing, a little bit of e-commerce. We'd been blogging our whole retirement journey. So people knew us a little bit online. And we then partnered up with some coaches to help us figure out, how we could maybe monetize our brilliance, our experience, and all of those things. And at one point, I think it was about a year in, they said, okay, guys, you are ready. It's like a mama bird pushing the baby out of the nest. It's time. You guys got to fly. You got to take on your own clients. You can do this. And here we are. Now, 3-4 years later, coaching other people to start that online journey, to know what it means and how to get where they want to go.
Okay. All right. So since you've gone down that path and you've switched careers and gone on that little journey, where do you see most beginning online marketers struggling the most when they first start out? Where do they get blocked? Where do they falter, that kind of thing? Because there's a lot of people that they see the job and they want to do it, but doing it's actually a whole nother ballgame. We've all been there. Right. Whether you're a marketer in its own or you're just trying to grow your company like I am, we all have to kind of get that hat on. So where do you see most people struggling?
I think it's emotional. And people want to make a difference, but they get stuck in knowing what to do. There's information overload out there right now. It's like everybody wants to be online. Everybody needs to be online, especially the pandemic has changed the whole trajectory. But I think it's information overload when it comes down to what's holding people back, because you're getting so many messages coming at you from all of the experts out there telling you got to do this. This is your magic bullet, or do this and you're going to see success. And why do I know that? because we've done it. We fell for it. We didn't know any better.
Mhm.
We were brand new in this industry, and each day it was like a learning experience. And so we knew there were other people just like us, totally confused, totally overwhelmed, doing the do, but not seeing the results.
Right.
Absolutely. And, to kind of add to that, like we see that all the time coming from our business when people are getting bombarded with all the software solutions that are there to solve their problems, right? You do a Google search, it's easy to find the answer. Which one's right for you is hard to figure out. I know in talking to people about marketing strategies and things like that is like, don't worry about which one's right. Just start with one and actually like try it. To me, that's always been the big things. Like just actually try one and don't try it for 2 weeks and then say, oh, no, it didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the hardest part for people to get over the fact that it may take you 6 months, it may take a year for it to really, get some good traction and stuff. It really just depends. But I always feel like that's a big one. And Tisha, I'd love for you to weigh in because I know you deal with a lot of people in the same realm.
Sure. I think that people, like you mentioned, Nate, they don't want to give it a fair shot. Like they're so quick. And Dana, to your point, there's so much noise out there of try this, do this, this will make you your millions, this will that. And you fall for it. I just actually was talking to a client the other day who said she fell for it and now she doesn't have the money that she needs to do it because she invested in a program that didn't do what it said. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. So I think putting these false advertisements out there of this one thing will make you the millions. Will it? Will it really? Like, stop falling for these ads. I mean, it's good advertising dollars being thrown at that to get you to see it. But dang, like, do your due diligence. Talk to people. I know in looking at different programs, and I know you guys probably do the same, but I seek out the people that have gone through the program. And I'm like, you tell me what your experience is before I even buy into this. Like, so I think it's super important to do your due diligence and talk to people and talk to resources before you make that decision, because it's a hefty investment.
Totally agree. And, you've got to find those people that you resonate with too. And that you trust.
Right.
I know from David's and my experience, we wanted to be those that were full of integrity. That's important to us. Integrity and compassion and excellence. Those are our three, values that we want to bring to our business. And, we've had coaches and mentors tell us, well, you need to make your promise bigger. And I'm like, no, we can't. That's not in, we can't make a promise we can't fulfill. Because we've fallen for those traps before and we just can't do that. So know that anything that comes out of our mouth or you see in our marketing, we're confident in.
I think it's important too. And I know, Nate, we've talked about this and I say this all the time, but if you have not gone through it yourself, how on earth are you going to teach other people? So if you are really not the product of what you put out there, that you could be your own testimonial, then what are you doing? Like, I feel like you're just like lying to people. Yeah, I did it. I didn't really do it, but you can do it. You can do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody wants to be a teacher and a coach, but nobody wants to go through the process of actually finding out what works. And again, too, it's very different. Me marketing for our company versus Tisha for hers and Dana for yours and the next person, they can all have different strategies and try different things or a combination of what each other's trying and stuff, and all of them work. It really just depends, I know there's no quick way to get people in the door for what we do. We're overhauling somebody's entire company. So that's not a quick advertising lead form kind of thing. It's more of a build relationships with people and network on the backside. But, for you, I imagine you can probably get a lot with a little bit of advertising, a lot of social media content, stuff like that. So leading up into that, what do you envision, Dana, in terms of developing a profitable marketing strategy? Like, what's the stages people need to go through? Not so much like, should they do email or this and that and other, but like, what's the stages of building the process? Instead of worrying so much about the tools and the means, if that makes any kind of sense.
No, it really does. And I'm glad you asked that, because that's exactly what David and I put together after, like you were saying, Tish, you have to go through it yourself to know what works or how it works. And David has a real strategic mind. He's always been gifted with that. And so he took a look at everything we'd done and realized, okay, there is a succinct process. There is an order that you need to go through. You don't just start sending out social media messages, or you don't start doing Facebook ads right off the bat because somebody tells you to. You've got foundational pieces that you need to put into place first.
Right
and so
on.
that process starts with the basics. And, even when we're working with folks that have had businesses for years, we look at their foundation first. And so we have a process that's 3 stages. And one is just those foundational pieces like mindset and goal setting and vision and knowing who you serve, what problem you solve, and how you're going to make money doing it. We've got a series of questions. We've got, different modules people can work through to really get clear on that foundation. And whether you've been in business for years or days, that foundation is so important, and it can always be improved. We are constantly going back and making changes in that. And once you've got that foundation where you're comfortable, then the next stage is, of course, getting out there and getting seen and doing all of the different tactics, like having a great lead magnet, that's going to attract people to you, that's going to give value, that's going to increase that trust they have in you. And then what happens next? Building that authority. How do you nurture them? Once they get your cool thing, your giveaway, that can't be the end, or you're going to lose everybody. So what does an email strategy look like? How do you get free eyeballs on your offers? Then going into the next, the final stage is how you kind of scale all of that up and improve on it. And it maybe at that point you can do Facebook ads or YouTube ads or any ad strategy. And so our process walks you through it so you know where you should be working today. You don't have to worry about tomorrow because you'll know where you're going tomorrow, but you got to work on this today. You're at this stage in the process.
We have some comments coming through too.
Awesome.
So Nat Handler, we talk about this quite a bit, and Nate, we have too, but just foundation is so important. And I teach the same thing. Nate, I'm sure you teach the same thing with your clients, but we cannot start at the top. We've got to lay the foundation first. And so many people, that's what I see the most common mistake people making, Dana, is they haven't done the homework yet. They're so fixated on what's the strategy and what's the outcome. And it's like, okay, but let's figure out where we need to start and build on that. Exactly. And iterate and build on that and iterate and build on that. Like I feel like people are missing that so much.
Exactly. And I loved how you named this, before it's too late. We've got to get that figured out before it's too late. And we either run out of money, like you mentioned earlier, or we lose our passion. That can be another thing. Or, a million of things can come in and derail us from what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. Coming to laying that foundation, one thing that I've been doing a lot here lately, and this is some stuff that me and my cousin Alan Faircloth, I'll give him a little shout out here. He's been a sales guy for years, 20 some odd years now. And we just got to talking about the process of trying to, because we both sell similar stuff. So it's just a long sales process. So trying to get people in the doors hard and everything. And I'll tell you what, an idea he gave me was I went around and started asking people from my target market and from people that deal with the same type of stuff that we do. And I just started asking, how are you getting sales? How are you getting leads? How are you doing this? How are you doing that? And to be quite honest with you, I started getting more leads just because people would start listening to you about what it is you do. And I guess my big thing about laying that foundation is just start talking to people, similar to what both of you have said, is just start having conversations. Don't worry about selling. Don't worry about building a marketing strategy and stuff like that right off the bat. Just talk to people and see what you need to provide to get people to look at you. You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing, is there's nothing wrong with asking people questions when you're a business starting out. because chances are the people that you're going to talk to, they're not going to buy from you right away. You're too young. You're too, not young age-wise, but like in terms of business. And so the reality of it is you can get those golden nuggets, as Tisha puts it, of wisdom, and then start putting it in your hat to play. And that way you're not wasting time, effort, and resources trying different strategies that may or may not pay off.
I love that. I love that. It is so much a relationship business.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know who you're helping, but you want to know what they want. You can think, what you want and what you want to build, but what if nobody wants that? And how are you going to know that if you're not having conversations? So, even in the early stages of business, it's so important just to be out there and, doing your due diligence, putting your feelers out, having those conversations. In fact, I'm working on something right now. I feel like something like it's a direction our business should go or something our business should offer, but we're not going to build it out until we know there's a real need for it. We know how that feels to build something and have nobody come to it. So,
yeah. Yeah. Well, and what you both are talking about too is really the research stage, which so many of us forget. We forget. We're so excited, build the product, get that service down, do all the flashy things. And then, you put it out and you're like, nobody's biting. I wonder why. Well, did you ask? Did you do your research? Did you figure out if it's a product that people really need or they have a struggle with or there's a pain point? Because if not, don't get into all of that. Don't spend all that money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that like you start talking to them about an idea that you have and you're going to do this, that, and the other. And then they start saying, well, you know what? I actually could use this. And then before you know it, you may be right there real close and just need to make a change. You may be way off base, but if you talk to enough people and you say, well, nobody wants what I'm selling, but I can also do what they're asking, and I know that, and you may need to swap. I mean, that was how I moved out of marketing into fixing people's internal systems, because the reality of it was I kept running into people who couldn't do marketing because they didn't have their internal stuff fixed. They didn't know where stuff was. They couldn't send you things. They couldn't do this, couldn't do that. It was always just a hassle. So I was like, I'll just fix this problem. And so I made the change, and that's where we went to. But there's a lot of people they just don't have those conversations, and just talking. They're always embarrassed to not be the big shot. I feel like, a lot of people have that type of feeling. But if they just start chatting with people, it kind of just picks up on its own.
It does. It does. We have a couple of comments that I want to bring up. Luis Melendez. Thank you, Luis. Nate and I, we are about a little over a year into this, but he said, I get golden nuggets every Casual Convo Friday. And we appreciate that. It's why we stay on the air, because of people like you that tune in. And then Nat saying, business is all about problem solving. You need to have those conversations and build relationships in order to identify and solve problems. There you go, guys. Yeah, that's key right there. If you're not having conversations and you think you know all the answers, but you haven't yet talked to that target market of yours, then you're really missing the boat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, Dana, I got another question for you here. Most of the time when people are starting out, they don't have all the resources in the world. They don't have all the people in the world. They don't have a large staff surrounding them. So one of the big things that kind of kills off our strategies, our research time and stuff like that is time. We don't have enough of it, right? Especially solo entrepreneur or two brand new business partners, whatever the case may be. Talk to us about developing out that strategy and using some time strategies, saving strategies that you employ to kind of help get that going instead of it just falling off like a lot of people's stuff does.
Well, you're speaking right to my love language there, Nate. Time is, valuable, and it's a resource we don't put enough. I think we all realize is valuable, but we can't get it back. So it's so important that we do spend our time wisely. And one of my gifts is time management and how I feel like I can manufacture time. And so what I like to do is pass that on to our students and our clients when they're starting out a business and, trying to integrate that with their life, because if you, as an entrepreneur, it's not business and life, they kind of go together. And so you know that you need to have a plan for that. And so that's one of the things I love to help people with, is figure out when are those pockets of time in their day that they may be wasting now, that they could, be doing something more productive with. We all have those in our day, and there's a need in our day for, doing priorities. There's time in our day for leisure time, for achievement, and also for keeping our, our surroundings neat and orderly. And so that's part of my plan formula. And I just sort of threw it at you real quick. But everybody's got their own situation. And so what I like to do is help them figure out what a perfect day would look like, starting with a perfect day, and then we can build around that and fit in where work fits in, where their business fits in, where life fits in, where sleep fits in, because that's a very important one. And so but when you realize you have to integrate your life with your business, that's when the magic starts happening.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. I know me personally, I love to get up at 2 a.m. and start my day before everybody's up and bother me. It's when I can focus and get a lot of stuff done. And then I'm in meeting mode after that. After you take the kid to school, it's all meetings after that. So, Tisha, what do you think?
I'm saying I hope you go to bed at like 3 p.m.
10 to 2.
If you are going to bed at 2, or if you're waking up at 2 a.m. every single day, and that's a start, I'm concerned for you, my friend. I'm
10
concerned
to 2.
for
That's
you.
4 hours. That's all I need.
4 hours.
I do.
Yeah.
I do about 3 days a week take an afternoon nap.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's a bonus. Yeah, that's always been a struggle. I know for me, especially with young kiddos earlier on, it was all work, not a lot of balance. And I made some sacrifices. I missed out on some of those moments, Dana. And as you shared, it's time I'll never get back. I can't go back and take my kid to Peter Piper Pizza on her first time. I missed it. And those things will come back to bite me. They will haunt me, let's say. So, I've really set my priorities first. Like, I've set my schedule and I've said, these are the things that are really super important to me. And then I will work around the work, adding the work in. And what I'm doing now, and I think that a lot of us are getting to that point of delegating, right? We're like, okay, I don't need to be doing this. I like it, but I don't need to do it. Or I need to really focus in on my strengths, not so much on improving my weaknesses and letting that go, so that I could do more of what I love. And so we hear a lot of this too, about just adding more income producing activities into your day, making sure that your business is staying afloat, making sure that you're getting things done, but that you can sleep at night, that you're not running ragged. You're not up at 4 a.m. still working to get up at 6 a.m. Like, that's just not a good lifestyle.
No. You can't prolong that for long. Our bodies do require rest. And when we have the adequate rest for our bodies, we're just that much more productive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to survive on a lot less sleep than I do now, but I feel like maybe I was walking around as a zombie. But
I was like 2 to 3 hours in my 20s. And then when I hit around 35, it started being like 4 to 5 hours a day. So, yeah, it's just what I've been.
All right. So what does the doctor say? You should get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep, of good sleep, like REM sleep each night. Nate,
I can't even
do you even get there? Do you even get there?
Yeah.
I could come in exhausted, and if I didn't have to do anything else, if my wife tells me, hey, go get some sleep, I got the kid, I literally will sleep like 4 hours and then pop right back up again. Yeah. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, it's just, I can't do the 8 hours. Like, maybe if I haven't slept all week, like if it's just literally been like just nonstop and whatever, or, like a week or so ago, my kid started staying up until like midnight. Like, he just won't go to sleep. And that's perfectly fine, because I used to be the exact same way my parents said when I was 3 and 4 years old, that I would just stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning. So we're just that way.
Different. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's different. I would call you the incremental sleeper. I used to be that too, Nate, where I'm like, I'd get a few hours, then I'd wake up, I'd do something, then I'd go back to sleep, and then, maybe take those naps. But now I'm really loving this like full 7-8 hours I get. It's quite refreshing. You should try it.
That's my wife. She won't nap. I'm gonna go to bed at 10. I'll wake up at 5 or 6 or whatever. That's her all day long. Me, I just kind of like, for a while there, I just did like an hour here and an hour there, and I'd get like 3 hours total for the day. That was just kind of my lifestyle. So.
Oh, I pray for you, Nate. All right. Any other questions for Dana, Nate? What other questions you got?
Considering we've got about 4 minutes left, I was going to let Dana do some shameless plugging here.
Yeah. All right, Dana, take it away.
All right. Well, if there are any, business builders out there, online business builders, and maybe you're not seeing the traction that you'd like in your business or the results, there's several different ways you can connect with us. Our website, Dana.com, is one place that you can go for resources or ways to connect with us. But I've got a free giveaway that I would love to share. If you're at the place in your business where you're looking for your own giveaway to attract people to you. And the reason I say a place in your business, because it's part of the process. If you haven't gotten your foundation yet, you're not quite ready for this. But if you've got a good foundation, then you're ready to get a giveaway, something that's going to attract people to you and to be irresistible to the right people. We have a template. We call it the Solution Framework. And I know Tish is going to put the links to that wherever she puts those amazing links. But what this will do for you, this will help you create that lead magnet that will irresistibly attract, 10, 15 leads a day. It did for us. And the solution is an acronym because I love it. I'm not going to go into all that. That's a whole teaching I could go into. But this framework will really help you to make a lead magnet that it will actually do something for you, will work for you over and over and over again. So if you've got 1 million, lead magnets already, great. Download it and check it out against what you're already doing. And I would suggest that will be a great tool for you. And just to keep your eyes open then, in September, we are going to be offering a challenge, a 5-day challenge where you can use that solution framework and actually build your lead magnet. So if you haven't already, you can join in on that challenge and I'll be able to even help you tweak it to make it even better. That's part of the beauty of that challenge. So David and I, we love to help people on their online journey. We love to answer questions. We love to help you figure out where you are in the process. You may think you're halfway through the steps, but come to find out you've missed step 3 and 4. So that's why I would love to talk with you. That's what gets us going every day.
Perfect. Well, we've got that up on the banner here, and then obviously Tisha's going to throw it up where she puts those amazing links, as you put it. And I'm done with my questions. Tish, you want to close us out?
Sure. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dana, for being here at Casual Convo Friday. I really love this episode because we touched on a lot. And if you got here late, you can always catch the replay. Dana touched on time management tips. We talked about online processes. We just talked about online marketing. And so many of us, as you know, being in this digital world, we need to have an online presence. You are really, really missing the boat if you do not have it. So I feel like Dana is the greatest coach to be able to help you with that if you are struggling with it. She has some amazing tools, so we'll go ahead and drop those links. And then Dana, thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate your time and joining us from Mexico. I'm jealous. I want to go to Mexico. Nate, you need to go to Mexico too.
Yeah, I need to go everywhere.
It's great. Well, thank you so much, guys, for having me. I enjoyed sharing with your audience, and it's been a blessing.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dana. And thanks to everybody for tuning in live or catching the replay on this. I highly recommend you go back and watch the full thing because she did drop some great nuggets, including doing research and laying the foundation before you get to the process. As we said, that this is all about understanding the process before it's too late. So if you're too far ahead in your process and you haven't really done that foundational work, you're really, missing out on that time and that money. Like there's several things that are going to fall through the cracks, and we want to make sure you're on the right foundation. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dana. Thank you, Nate. Good to see you. And we'll catch you back next Friday on Casual Convo Friday. We'll see you guys.
See y'all.
Bye.